Hey there, how's it going, Leos? So, I've got a tarot reading for you, but because I'm shuffling it right in front of you, I don't know what it's about yet. It could be love, finances, household situations, career, that vacation you want to go on. We'll find out together in a moment as soon as we shuffle the cards out here. And I also don't know what this reading or who this reading is for, but whoever it's for, I hope it makes it to you. Let me get a good shuffle going. Okay. And then we're going to zoom in really close because you have an overhead view right now, but I like to give you a really nice clear depiction of these cards. My name's Lindsay, by the way. If you have never been to a reading of mine, sometimes I start to talk about history or biology or science in the middle of a reading because I vibe as a Gnostic tarot reader, so I like to combine a lot of different historical aspects of things, different mythologies, even different traditions of spirituality. But above all, I love to read these cards from the mind of Arthur Edward Waite with his understanding of the pictorial key to the tarot, which is the book he published in 1910, giving the instructions of reading the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. In which case, this deck that I'm using right now, which is called the Orion's Animal Tarot, is based off of that deck. So if you know how to read the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you'll know how to read this deck. And by the way, I'm also a little quirky. Every now and then I decide to, sing a little bit, put on an accent, or crack a couple jokes. Don't mind, you'll get used to it. All right, you know what? We're starting off here with, it feels a little bit like balancing of a project in your household. I say that because we have the Three of Pentacles in the reversal and the Two of Pentacles. The 3 and the 2 have popped up. We also have 2 3s going on here, by the way, which has its own significance. In 1910, in that book I was talking about, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, published by the brain genius himself, Arthur Edward Waite, he specified what it meant when you have 2 3s that are in the reversal, because it has their own meanings. A different meaning than when you have 2 3s showing up in the upright. But in your case, you have one of each. So we kind of take those 2 meanings and we merge them together to get our first hint at what is happening here. And thankfully, whether the 3s are upright or the reversal, at least they have decent meanings. Like in the upright, it means calm. In the reversal, it means safety. Unlike what just happened in my house, you wouldn't know it, but I just had to pause this video because my 1 5-year-old just flooded my living room. He decided to try and make marbles into water marbles. That's what he has explained to me. So yeah, if you saw my camera sketch out a little bit there, that's why. I'm back. Okay. So these 2 3s, this calm and safety is a really interesting dynamic here. Because it talks about a really balanced approach, or this desire with the Star card. Could be that you are trying to accomplish something that gives you that best sense of calm and safety in what you're doing. I say the balance, though, of things in your life because the 2 of Pentacles is here. And off face value, it can come across as balancing things. But again, Arthur Edward Waite had a very interesting meaning for that 2 of Pentacles energy, especially in connection with messages. You would think the messages and communication card always goes to the pages and the knights, but the 2 of Pentacles is actually a card that discusses what can happen when you exchange between 2 people messages of enjoyment, especially when it's in the upright position. So it feels like somebody wants to, even the Eight of Wands is here, it feels like somebody wants to communicate something and wants to make sure that the way that they write it, or text it for that matter, is the safest, calmest way to approach it, which brings the least amount of negative judgment and the most amount of enjoyment, balancing these aspects here for a successful harvest. 4 of Wands. Also, I want to say, Four of Wands, Arthur Edward Waite had said, whether it's in the upright or the reversal, means a good outcome, means harvesting a beautiful outcome between two people. It also means unity. By the way, if you hear banging downstairs, my son is trying to close my basement door. My basement door has recently broken, so we all have to slam it shut. Sorry about that. Now, these are all really good cards. Honestly, Leo, I like this. Right out of the gate here, you could think like, oh my gosh, what are we up against? And a lot of different readings, I've seen that. A lot of horoscope signs, I'm like, damn, you got to go through this challenge. You got to go through this obstacle. But I like the way that I kind of started your reading wondering in like a suspicious way what kind of obstacle you might have to overcome. And I'm sitting here like, no, this is really nice. The only two cards that are in the reversal are the Star card, which can sometimes refer to a need at increasing hope, because the universe is going to grant you a wish, the wish on the shooting star, but you might not think that it's going to get accomplished, even in the face of all of these really good cards. And then the Knight of Wands is the other card that's in the reversal here. And that's the particular card that makes me think like this is the reason why you were feeling a little hopeless in this dynamic. Because the Knight of Wands, when it's in the reversal, it is a rupture that happens. It's discord, division. Two people who perhaps ended up, well, in an imbalanced way originally and separated. Division amongst each other. But honestly, it looks like that might be in the past. Or even if it's in the present, it's not the outcome, because the outcome is, the approach here is calm, peace, enjoyment, good harvest, good judgment, which I really like. I do want to mention that the division card is being circled with the Three of Swords, which is the card infamously known as the card of heartbreak. It is in the upright position, which can denote that currently the division is there until the messages of the Eight of Wands and communication swiftly come through. And the Three of Pentacles in the reversal, Arthur Edward Waite did mention that that particular card is associated with one very striking describing word, and that is the word of petty. And that might be where this division came from. This to me sounds like there could have been a division that happened at one point that resulted in heartbreak because of somebody's mouth, because they were petty with their mouth. But genuinely, I do think that that present state of division over a past heartbreak situation or the past pettiness is going to be approached in a better way. I really do like this. The Eight of Wands is in the reversal, so the target gets hit. The communication and messages get hit. The Judgment card is in the upright, so nobody is resistant to growth in this in the end. The Four of Wands, like I said, is the card of you win out on uniting two people together, whether this is in the upright or the reversal. And the Two of Pentacles in the upright means you do balance things out, and it does bring in a sense of enjoyment. The Two of Pentacles is also a card that sometimes has to do with gaining recognition because somebody else is watching what you've done and you watching what they've done. Specifically, I think this will occur with the communications that happen between you guys. Like, it won't just be flippant communication. It will be one that you analyze them for and that this person analyzes you for, and both of you recognize that you're putting a good foot forward on it. So I like that. Now, here's where I'm going to change up a little bit here. Change it up. I'm going to shuffle these back into the deck because this reading so far, I would say, there's going to be communication that comes in. The communication is going to go over well. There's a period of division right now. Because somebody was petty, or both of you could have been petty and said things you didn't want to really mean. But the real question is when you have situations like this, and this doesn't have to be just or relationships. This could be two friends who got petty with one another, or two coworkers, or two associates. When it comes to things like that, the end result is really what people are after. And when I say the end result, I mean Okay, so you have a bit of good communication, but is it truly going to stick? Are you guys going to get past that and not have to revisit that? You know what I mean? It's that vibe. That's what I want to know now. So I'm going to pull out some extra cards here. And I just want to say, when I shuffled these cards, your reading is really straightforward, but the shuffling of these cards has been really weird today. Like I just did Cancer's horoscope sign before you. I had no problem shuffling this exact same deck. The moment I got back into your reading here, your energy, these cards became a little bit weird. Okay, first card we have is the Six of Cups showing up in the reversal. See, there we go again. It's just the cards want to knock a lot and fall out all over. I don't think anybody's cards have fallen out in like the first 6 horoscope signs I've done, but yours are just freaking all over the place. Okay, all right. See, I knew I wanted to look at the outcome here because good communication is one thing. Kind gestures are lovely, but is it going to stick? That was my question. Okay. All right. Here comes the Scottish accent because I'm a wee bit pissed off, okay? I'm just like, I had this suspicion inside of me that for a period of time, you guys will work through it and it will work out with good communication. You will analyze each other's messages. You will see that you were trying to put a good foot forward. But the problem here is 6 of Cups. This is why I said this could be like, you know, the house in astrology that's called friends, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. That's why I said this doesn't just have to be about relationships, because the 6 of Cups goes along that road sometimes. It can deal with family, it can deal with siblings, it can deal with cousins, it can deal with people who are really close to you like neighbors. Sometimes it can be an older family member to a younger family member. Of course, 6 of Cups can also deal with love and relationships, right? But when it's in the reversal, there is disunity that happens, and you did get it in the reversal. Paired with what? The Devil card. So somebody still, I think, in the end, their mouth or their anger or frustrations come out even after all the good hard work of taking the time to write some good, decent messages. The Queen of Swords is also paired here with it all, and she's quite frankly a bitch when she's in the reversal. Like, she's got a nasty mouth. She can be really bitter. And that brings up that pettiness quality that we saw in the earlier part of the reading. Plus, to top it all off, the Tower card is here. So there's going to be a fire ablaze with this person again. And the Wheel of Fortune is here in the reversal position, which means you're going to have to do this over again. You walk up to the Wheel of Fortune. If you want to take the steps of seeing where the wheel is going to land with this person, it's landing in the reversal position. And so there's difficulty with completing the lesson. I want to look one step further into the 6s, because that is the second 6 that we have now. And again, like I said at the beginning with the 3s, 2 3s in the upright have a certain meaning, 2 3s in the reversal have a certain meaning, and the same can be had with the 2 6s that have shown up here. And unlike the 3s, which mean calm and safety, if you have 2 6s in the upright or 2 6s in the reversal, both of them suck. Both of the meanings, according to Arthur Edward Waite in the 1910 Pictorial Key to the Tarot, it means irritability and it means downfall. And I know it's so striking because people think in terms of numerology. They will think like, oh my gosh, 6, it's an even number. Hey, we went to elementary school. It's time for math. Even numbers, odd numbers. 2 is balanced, 4 is balanced, and 6 is balanced too. But 6 is the number of the material world. There's a reason why they called the name of the beast 666, you know. Yeah, it's an even number, and it's got a lot of balance can come along with it if handled in a certain way. But overall, when you have 2 of them together like this, you're dealing with irritability, which is the petty energy again, surfacing itself, and downfall, which is the Tower card, because the Tower, that is downfall. That is what happens, is things crumble really quickly. The last thing that we have here to talk about before I end this reading is the Two of Swords. And if you know the original depiction on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck or any of the other decks based off of it, like the Charmin Burke deck, the Two of Swords is a person who usually has a blindfold over top of their eyes because they have two swords in their hands, and those two swords are protecting their heart. They cannot see the truth of a situation. They blindfold their own selves to it a little bit because they're so focused on protecting themselves and getting the way they think they need that they don't realize that if only, we're just going to pretend there's a blindfold here. My finger is the blindfold over the fish's eyes. If only this person could take the swords that they have right there and cut the blindfold off their own eyes, they'd be able to see again. But instead, they're so focused on doing what they think they need to protect themselves that they just sit around wearing the blindfold, and then the cycle continues and their mouth gets in the way. I think that's what's happening. I think this can happen with one of you, or it can happen with both of you. I'm just going to be really frank about that. I know that my own self, I might want to say to the whole world that I can try and be the kindest person and I could be really kind for like 3 straight months. And there might be a certain circumstance where all of a sudden I'm a son of a bitch because people get petty. It happens. So just like I know that you guys probably work at being really kind, I'm sure there's a few of you out there, especially under your horoscope sign, let's be frank, who can get a little petty, and then you've got 2 people whose heads are butting against one another. But even if it is just one of you and you manage to somehow be like super kind in the face of this person's pettiness, then the petty is still there. It's just coming from the other person. You see what I'm saying? Whoever it's coming from, the mouth situation, I think is kind of, it's blowing things up, unfortunately. Teaching some lessons here. It's no wonder there's so much of a focus on calm and gentleness in the first half of this reading, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. I would be one to kind of put the intuitive assumption out there that this is probably not the first time you guys have had this go around. Because usually, if someone starts to really think to themselves with those 2 3s that showed up earlier, if you're like writing a text message or something, or writing an email or whatever, if you're pen paling it, I'm kidding, but I'm not. Whatever you're doing to write this stuff, if you have to get to the point, or if this person has to get to the point where they say to themselves, man, I need to really structure my messages and make sure I'm being nice this time, it's probably because it was more than one time that they were not talking appropriately and had a mouth on them. Because what do they say? Doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity. I think this person is like, I think I should change things up. And they try to write nicely. And then later on, they forget that and they fuck up again. Quite frankly, that's what I think is going on here. Now that leaves it up to you, So yeah, they're going to talk a little bit nicely. They will reach out to you. You guys will unite for a period of time. And then eventually I think the pettiness will quell up again. And you will have a tower moment with this person again. It's cyclical and repetitive. But I'm going to say this one last thing to bring you into position of humility, okay? Or whoever's watching this, unless maybe it's a cross-watcher. I know things happening over and over again seem like this big, bad psychology boogeyman. Oh no, a person has the same red flag over and over again. Oh no, they failed and they made a mistake. They're never going to change. But I will remind you that at the heart of all humans, this is biology 101, everything takes multiple times to accomplish it because humans learn by mistakes. Case in point, an example, I'll give you 4 or so examples. If you wanted to speak the word dad when you were a baby, you had to fail at saying dad 18 times in a row. You got to say da, and then you learned how to make that mistake. Maybe you said do, and then you were a baby and you're like do, da, 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 da. And then you learned 5 more times. Oh yeah, it's dad. And then you're like, oh wait, it's daddy. Okay, and then if you wanted to get on a bike, you know what you had to do? You had to fall off the bike and cut your knees over and over again. And eventually, after 17 mistakes, you finally learned the right one. If you want to learn how to swim, you know what you have to do? You have to sink in order to swim. So, if the nature of all human experience is typically to suck at it and repeat the same loop over and over again, that includes the people you talk to who keep doing this shit. Anybody who keeps getting petty, they're just trying to ride a bike and they suck at it for a long time. But are you willing to grow through an experience with someone while they make these mistakes? Because you're going to do the same thing too. You're going to make certain mistakes over and over again. Maybe your mistake might be about how you shop and how much money you spend at, KFC, whatever it is. It exists in all humans. Because nobody wakes up in the morning and says to themselves, pulls that blanket up, stretches their arms awake, takes a big yawn in the morning. And then when they wake up, they say to themselves, you know what I want to do today? Suck at fucking everything and blow shit up. Nobody wants that. Your person wants to have a good day just like you want to have a good day. And I can tell that in this reading because they do try to attempt to be kind at some point. It's just that later on down the road, they suck at it a bit again. That's the point. So it's up to you. If you want to grow with them through that, eventually they will learn, I would say, based off this reading. But that also includes maybe when you learn how to ride a bike, at first you ride on pavement and then you ride on the grass and you see the difference. That might be something, this way of their communication, they might not learn this lesson just from riding around in life with you. So how long you want to stick around for this is completely up to you. And the reality that they might need to learn with some other people how to communicate effectively could also be a reality, Or even riding on the pavement, metaphorically speaking, if you're learning to ride a bike, to go and ride on the grass and try a different thing, only to come back to the pavement and keep trying there again. So again, you could spend some time away from this person and they could go learn this lesson from someone else. And then later on down the road, they try to be kind and generous again, and they try to apologize. And then you guys might have a friendship in the future or a relationship in the future at that later point after they've learned how to fail a little bit more elsewhere. See what I'm saying? But it's not the worst. You know what I don't see in here? I don't see the energy of intentional maliciousness. I don't, if it was two aces, fuck. Fun fact, two aces, whether the upright or the reversal, is trickery and enemies. I know, I bet you didn't know that because most people are like, oh my gosh, an ace, it means new. Not in original ways of looking at it, especially not with the Arthur Edward Waite's Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the OG tarot deck that most other decks are based off of. So I don't see trickery. I don't see Seven of Swords, trickery, and maliciousness. The problem I see is pettiness and somebody whose mouth, they're not thinking things through when they say things, and they're letting that well up on them, unfortunately. I mean, the Six of Cups is here. I do see a friendship that may be in disunity at times, or a relationship that's in disunity, but the Six of Cups is ultimately a card of people who are supposed to be rolling with each other, I think a lot of the problem too with the pettiness is the Devil card sitting here. Overthinking, and the ability to obsess, especially about things that frustrate them. Just look at this guy right here, the Praying Mantis. Not exactly the friendliest. Super versatile. But get on his bad side and it wants to eat you. Oh, man. All right, well, I'm going to leave you off with that. Handle it accordingly. Grow as you will. And if you are interested in a personal or private reading, feel free to get a hold of me at the description below. And, I'm going to go off to... I was going to go to Instagram, but I'm actually going to go to bed because it's almost midnight. And I'm waiting for my kitchen floor to stop with its wetness and dry up a little bit after I wiped it down. And so, I'm going to go take care of that and head to bed. All right. Thank you very much, you guys. Many blessings to you. I will talk to you guys later, and ciao for now.